Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. My first guest, real funny comedian. He's going to be at Caroline's this weekend. And he writes for Saturday Night Live. He's got a lot going on. Busy man, Michael Che. What's up, man?
Thank you so much for having me here, man.
How you doing?
This is exciting. You know, it's so funny because I remember I saw you at Caroline's like 2 years ago.
Really?
It was like your first show in a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. I've seen a lot of people headline Caroline's, but I've seen a lot of sold out shows there.
Right.
But the outpouring of people that just wanted to stand up and touch you. You remember that? Like, I remember walking in, you didn't even have like an opening. It was just like music would play.
Right.
And you would walk right to the stage and everybody just wanted to touch you and grab you, man. It was the coolest thing ever. I was like,
thanks.
damn, that's a connection.
Yeah, no, that's...
No one will be doing that for me this weekend. But it was like the coolest thing I've seen. It was like some rock star, like, it was a really cool thing.
Well, thank you. I got to give a lot of that to the Howard Stern show. That show makes you that way. But those fans are loyal, man. Radio fans in general, but being on that show, that helped out a lot. And I'd gone through some personal issues. But no, that's all comic wants, is a connection, right?
Yeah.
So they come to see you. So by the time you're talking, you don't have to set anything up, and they know you. You know.
To me, I felt that's what I got from it. I was like, wow, man, like it's that radio thing where you're talking to them all the time. They feel like they know you, you know, like
I'm a guy to go to work with every morning.
Exactly. Yeah. So like when they see you, they want to touch you, man. It was the coolest thing ever.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting there though, man. I mean, you voted 50 funniest people on Rolling Stone, right, and all that stuff, and
yeah, but that's. You
know why you're funny? Because you're smart enough not to take... A lot of comics rather go, we'll just totally put on the thing like, yeah, well, it's very exciting. You're too smart to realize.
I mean, it's the coolest... Like, when you wake up...
It's enormously cool, but
you feel cool when you wake up and you see it, but, you also know, well, I still got to be funny.
Right. Now, some people wake up after... Some comics, unfortunately, most of them, and a lot of these people don't go on to it shows they're not that funny. They think once that happens, the next morning they're Chris Rock already.
Exactly. It's never that. It was also like Charles Barkley's on the list and stuff. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah, well, a funny guy, but all right, I guess.
But it is a cool thing. It was
funny.
like a really cool thing.
Nah, it's something that's awesome.
Yeah, but also you just know it's still the audience. They all the credit. That's why I always like people put up credits like before a comedian gets on or whatever. Yeah. But you get like 2 minutes of that. Right. And then it's, okay, be funny. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Well, even what you saw with me, you got to start, because I came out of being in rehab and, and I had jokes about that, but you got to, after a while, like, okay, we're still paying $11 for a rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah, you got to do something. But now, how long have you been writing for Saturday Night Live? And how did you get that job? Did people see you do stand-up?
Yeah, I know, one of the head writers, Colin Jost, who I knew from the clubs or whatever, and he asked me if I wanted to come in and do like a guest writing thing.
Just from seeing you do stand-up?
Yeah, because you know me from stand-up, and I was like, yeah, I would love to. I still didn't know what I would be doing. When they hired me, I told Seth and Jost, I was like, listen, if you guys would have came in the office and said, thank you so much for being here, I'd take a large black coffee and give bagels. I would have just got coffee for people. You know what I mean?
You had that humility, which, again, a lot of comics don't have, then they should have it. But
I think that's why comics probably last the longest of all of the entertainment, because we do a little bit have that. We have to make fun of ourselves.
Some don't, but the ones that last, you're right.
Yeah, man, we have to know that we're a little, because the whole premise is why we are bad people. And that's what the audience connects with. Like, yeah, man, I could never admit that to a room full
You're
of
right.
strangers,
They want to hear the flaws, and we talk about it, and they're like, wow, you say that out loud. And you talk about it. But, the Rolling Stone thing is one thing, but getting a job on SNL writing, I remember when I first came up, the funniest guys who were the greatest writers like Dave Attell in the early 90s, I knew him back then. He got a gig just because SNL saw him doing stand-up. Right. They saw the jokes. Louis C.K. got a job writing on Conan for the same exact reason. Right. So that's a big deal if somebody sees you and says, wow, you're a good writer.
It's a huge deal. But the show is such a well-oiled machine.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's so, like, it's like 15 writers and so many, cast members that can also be writers if they wanted to be. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean. That show's iconic to the point where now you were doing a spot at a club downtown probably, and then 2 weeks later, you're working with Tom Hanks. You're sitting at a table read with Tom Hanks.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes you watch your mouth when you talk about celebrities too, because you could, a comedian, you could say anything that anybody that's in the news, and then that next week that person's hosting, and you got to pitch them.
That's what I mean. The worst thing is being a comic is meeting somebody you want to make fun of, and they're nice to you, and you're like, oh, no, I can't make fun of them.
You can't make fun of them. You got to the more friends you make, the worse the act gets.
That was the worst thing about working with Howard Stern was, like, a name would come up on the news, and I'd goof on it, and I'd look at him, and I go, oh, my God, he knows that person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
All right, that's off limits.
You can't say it. So it's always weird. But you know what? It's also a pleasant surprise when you're like, man, you see these people on the papers, and you think they're, like, on an island or whatever, but then you meet them, and they're genuine people. You know, like they really want to be funny.
It's a human being.
It's a human being
with all the humans.
Somebody with parents.
Did you ever meet somebody? You don't have to name names, but you were happy to see that they were such a-holes you could continue to make fun of them, or?
No.
Really? You've had good
honestly,
experiences
I'm like, I can't wait for
the
day.
That's good.
When I can tell you.
As a comic, you're like, I can't wait to have that happen. You know?
I can't wait for the day to tell you that somebody was actually horrible.
Well, I did that sketch show on Mad TV for a couple of years, and my guy that I was so happy was such a jerk off I could continue to the goof on him was Brian Austin Green. Not that even I didn't goof on him before. He wasn't even on my radar. But now after I met him, I wanted to create jokes about him. I wanted to study him and do it. I have 20 minutes on Brian Austin Green.
That's like a blessing.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's sad because at this point you'd have to like set up the whole who Brian Austin Green thing is.
I'd have to play an introductory video for the audience. And that's right. Let me explain who this guy was. And here's why I don't like him. Michael Che getting shirt to Caroline this weekend, right?
Yeah, this weekend, Thursday through Sunday.
Check him out there, and we'll be back with more Michael after this. Hey, welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Real funny guy, Michael Che, is here, and he'll be at Caroline this weekend. Just found out you're doing a half-hour Comedy Central thing.
Yeah, I'm doing a half-hour in Boston, yeah.
You doing the Wilbur Theater up there? You know what you're doing?
It's not the Wilbur Theater. It's a different theater. I forget the name of it, but
okay.
It's a different like venue that they use all the time.
Are you happy with that? Like, you've done Boston before? It's a great comedy.
I just left Boston like, I guess like 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe.
Yeah.
And I did Laugh Boston.
Okay.
It was a really great club.
Yeah, no, they're really, really good up there, man.
We sold out like 2 shows. It was really cool.
Now you're gonna do
the Saturday shows and the Friday shows.
You got a set half hour that's like down type of thing where it's like a robot at this point, or
no,
okay,
not at all. But I kind of like that. It's like I know the jokes that I want to do for the most part,
right?
And a lot of it's going to be a lot of feel. I want it to be as real as it could be.
I'm sure it's going to be great. I mean, you don't want to hear that right now, I know, but I'm taping an hour for my third one there in a couple of months, and I'm, you end up, you're going to tape more, right? Probably do like a 45-minute thing, and then I guarantee it's going to go great, but then your hell's going to be the editing. Like, what do I want in that 30 minutes?
I think well, for us, I think it's, we do 30 minutes, and then they probably cut like to 22.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever, you're cutting something.
Yeah, so like I feel like with 22, it almost feels like it'll be like a club set or whatever.
Yeah.
Like an hour, you want an arc.
You can't even get going.
People hit a wall after like 35, 40 minutes. If they're laughing hysterically, they're tired a lot of times. So you start wanting to tell a story maybe or really captivate them a little bit. It's a little different pacing.
Look, no, it's a good problem to have. They're laughing so hard they're tired. But, but I know what you're talking about. You want 22 minutes, like you can't even. I just watched on one of those channels. I forget which channel it was over the weekend. They show a lot of the old half hours for HBO, and I watched Damon Wayans from 1991, and it's like he ended up doing 22 minutes, but with him, it's like, man, he just started going. You know, they were just ramping up. He's doing these insanely funny characters and stuff. Like other guys have stolen from him by now,
I think I was raised on that special.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, it was like Eddie Murphy, Damon Wayans.
Right.
That was like the funniest people on the planet to me.
He was a comic that back in the day even intimidated Eddie Murphy. I remember Eddie Murphy being in Arsenio Hall going, I stopped doing stand-up because Damon Wayans was so good.
Yeah, man, he's hilarious, man. I always loved, and even in sketch, like he could just
perfect sketch.
It was
guy.
unreal.
Yeah,
unreal. His characters, and you could never do that again. You can never do Handyman on network TV.
No,
like,
I know.
Never get away with
the two gay guys reviewing movies. That's no more of that.
You can't have the preacher talking to God like lying, like he's talking to God. It's so much like funny ideas that I actually seen him live doing some characters at a club.
Oh yeah.
Somewhere, I think might have been a cellar or whatever, and he was just killing.
Destroyed.
Just like really funny characters, just in characters. It's amazing to watch.
Right. Well, people he grew up with, Do you have that? Do you do characters at all, or is it mostly just jokes?
I do characters like maybe for a line. You know, and it's Michael Che doing a character. You're never lost. Like no one's ever walking in the kitchen like, wait, is that Arnold Schwarzenegger on TV? You're never lost. It's clearly me. I do characters so bad I still have to say the name of the character I'm doing during the character. So it's not good.
No, but it probably works. Within a bit. Yeah,
it works in a bit. Yeah, and I get right out of there.
No, because a guy like Damon Wayans with his ability. Think about that cast in *A Living Color*. You got him and Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I mean, a home run, and then you forget how great Davidson was in sketches.
David Allen Greer.
David Allen Greer was perfect in a sketch. Those two guys who, David Allen Greer and Tommy Davidson, the Hollywood guys, bam. I mean, what's funnier than that? But
Funky Fingers production. Yeah,
bam. I had Tommy Davidson here, and I'm going like, well, God, this is, you want to give him so much props for that. But when you write for sketches, did you have cast members that you, at the show, that you write for a lot? Or do you write monologue jokes?
I don't write too many monologue jokes. Usually, like the head writers will take on like the monologues or whatever, and then we will work on like punching it up.
All right.
In a lot of cases, like Seth or Jose will be doing kind of the monologues in the cold opens or whatever. But like for me, I like to write with everybody. You know, like whoever. I try to kind of do who will do the sketch justice, who will do the idea justice, as opposed to what can we do for. You know, Bobby or Jay or whoever, because I feel like that's kind of the key. It's tricky, like writing sketches and writing stand-up, because stand-up I write what I can deliver. Yeah. And a sketch, you got to write what everybody else can be funny in.
So a lot of assignments, like with a host, go write something for Jennifer Lawrence. Like, we'll tell you to do that, right?
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
Like, we just had Lena Dunham in, and I got like, okay, would Lena Dunham be funny?
And then the thing is, and I learned this at Mad TV, too, when we'd have somebody coming in as a guest every once in a while. I mean, not superstars you guys would get, but how do you, Lena Dunham's a perfect example. She's got that reputation for getting naked, but she's not the most classic beauty. Like, do you write something that offends her? Like, there's a line where you go, "My God, is that going to offend her? Do I even turn this in?" Yeah,
that's a huge thing too. You don't know what's safe or whatever. But for the most part, a lot of people that come in are game to do whatever if it's funny, right? Because they know they're going to look good if it's funny.
Yeah, they want to be funny. Yeah.
And also writers don't want to just write something that.
No, I'm saying you don't do it on purpose, but I'm saying like when you write, you go, damn, well, maybe I got to rethink this because that's offensive to them. Who knows? You know?
For the most part, I think it's usually, and we also have like producers that tell us, kind of, hey, you might want to stay away from this kind of thing or whatever. They're a lot more savvy. Like I said, it's a well-oiled machine, man. They know what they're doing.
Well, after Mad TV was so based on puns, at the pitch meeting, we would say stuff as a joke, okay? And sometimes it would get on. So you have to watch what you say. Yeah. Tori Spelling was coming on, okay? And they begged to, because we got nobody big. They begged her to do the show. So I said, as a joke, I said, what about the Tori Spelling bee? And she has to spell the word nepotism. Is the word. Look right and spell the word nepotism. And don't even tell her why. So the manager wrote, they sent it to her. They sent, not even attaching my name to it as a writer who thought of this.
Oh, really?
And the manager wouldn't let her do the show. And they blamed me. I'm like, guys, I was kidding around.
That's hilarious.
She's gonna spell nepotism.
So when you guys pitched, the host isn't already there.
Not back then. No, they wouldn't even come in. We got no props like that. They were like, look, send us something. If we like it, we'll come in.
That's like, it's like we get to meet them at the same time.
Right, because Lauren has that kind of juice, and you're working for an iconic thing,
Yeah, it's very straight. It's like they're more excited about it than we are a lot of times. Like people will like, hey, I'm a huge fan. I love the show because they just want to look good, you know. So it's really cool. Everybody there is usually is like fully game for whatever. We
got to take another break before we go back, but I got to say this. I'm not just saying this. I don't want to make you feel weird about this, but I really thought when Seth left to do that show, I thought, knowing you worked there, I was going to hear about you maybe for Weekend Update. I really thought that.
Well, no, I don't know.
I mean, I know you don't want to hear that, and you're humble, but I really thought.
You're going to get me fired.
You didn't say that, I did. But I'm just saying, I thought that would have been a sweet move. I don't know.
No, man, Weekend Update is but Cecily and Jose, they're like, when you see what they can do, you're like, okay, well, that makes sense.
No, I know, but I thought that in my head. I said, watch, I want to hear about Michael, well, in the future, you'll be a little more cutthroat, I'm sure. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Michael Che is here, funny comic who you're going to see at Caroline this weekend. He'll be taping a half-hour comedy special for Comedy Central, and he's a writer at Saturday Night Live. When's the next SNL? Who's the next host?
CK.
Oh, Louis going to do it. Okay.
Oh man, yeah, it's exciting. I feel like I just can't wait to just get in the room and write with him. You know, you get to write.
Well,
with
he did it last
CK.
year when you were there, right?
I wasn't there that week.
Oh, no
I was
kidding.
on high because I came in as a guest writer, so I only came for 2 weeks, and then I was gone for like 3 weeks because I had like other stuff to do.
Okay.
And then I came in to finish out the season, like the last like 4 episodes, I think, or something like that.
Do
so
you know
I missed
Louis?
him. Yeah, I know him from
from the cellar. He's in the cellar all the time. Yeah.
I know him somewhat. I pretty much know. And like we don't get coffee or anything. Like I know him the way any famous person knows a guy that hangs around.
Right.
You know?
Well, show business has that weird connection thing where, one time Louis invited me to his birthday party a few years ago, and I went in, and I'm sitting there with a bunch of comics I knew from the cellar, and Chris Rock walks in. It was a guy I had met a couple times, and kind of knew, but now you're sitting there socializing with him. And I thought I'd been in show business for so long, but I really think Rock is the best comedian of our generation.
Yeah,
it's close with a couple. I'm talking about the last 25 years.
Yeah,
and so even though he's a comic with the same insecurities I have, and I've been in show business now for 20 years, I was kind of nervous around a guy, which is odd,
Yeah, well, because you like, if this guy doesn't think I'm funny, like he's the master of funny, and if he doesn't think I'm funny, you kind of want that approval from those kind of guys. And I feel like comedians more so than a lot of professions, we're bigger fans than we are comedians. Like we're like the luckiest comedy fans in the world because we get to do it.
Eventually, if you work with a guy, right.
You never meet like a comedian that's like, I don't really like comedy that much. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you're right.
Comedy.
It's something you gotta be passionate about.
You gotta be very passionate to even think about trying it.
But I'd rather bomb in a room in Kansas City in front of 500 people than bomb in front of one guy.
Yes.
And if it's Chris Rock.
Absolutely.
Like if he laughs at something, I don't care if I bomb in front of 500 people from Kansas City.
Exactly.
And that's how comedians think. But when you're in a writer's room, and some sitcom writers, I think eventually you'll probably get into this world performing or whatever. A lot of these guys who don't come up through stand-up, they don't have that passion for the joke.
Different.
Like they'll leave before it's 5 a.m. because they always see their joke killing because it's fake laughs. Like they never bombed at a Funny Bone, and you know what I mean. It's like, no, we got to stay. People aren't going to laugh at that. And it's a
totally different thing.
It's a lonely feeling out there,
Stand up is it's the way you say like SNL, nothing will be tougher to come out. It's the same way with stand up. Like when you're ready, because we face rejection. Yeah, we face it. We face people that have no idea who we are. People come to comedy shows that don't want to see comedy. And
they're dragged there. You're right, a lot of times.
There's people upset. Like we're doing something. We started doing comedy in audiences that like we're bothering. They want to watch the game.
It's the direct opposite.
I remember
of entertaining.
I did a bar show in downtown, and it was Mello's first game as a Knick. And I couldn't be more obnoxious, just doing my life's passion. They're like, shut up.
Listen, we know you've been trying to do this for 20 years, but it's Mello's first.
It's Mello's first game.
Mike, listen, we'll plug about Caroline this weekend. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much,
Come by anytime.
Thank you so much, Artie, man. I love coming here.
And good luck with everything. Back after this.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.